What's up, GabTribe? It's your girl, GabbySpeaks, and I am back with another video. If this is your first time clicking on any of my videos, I would like to say welcome. You are welcome to watch other videos that I have created. But anyway, for y'all that have already subscribed, I want to say thank you for rocking with me for going on 2 months now. Go ahead and hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share the video, do whatever. So many of y'all may know that March is Women's History Month as well as Social Work Month. And I don't know if a lot of people know that or not. I mean, I know that social workers know it's Social Work Month, but I'm not sure if everybody else knows. But anyway, yes, indeed, it is Social Work Month. So today I'm going to be talking about social work and social workers, just as well as some women who have been impactful in the field of social work. So first of all, I want to say social work is a very unique field because the work that we do is very different than what other people do. I believe that you have to be called and chosen to do social work. This is not for everybody. But anyway, I'm going to share some insight on what social work is, because what I learned is that I get questioned all the time, you know, what do social workers do? Honey, we do all kind of things. But I'm going to, first of all, tell y'all what social work is. So social work is a practice-based profession that promotes social change, development, and cohesion, and the empowerment of people and communities. So if I had to put that in GabbySpeaks words, it would go something like this. Social work is a helping profession where we help individuals, communities, different countries pretty much function at their fullest potential. That's what I would say in my own words. But yeah, social work practice involves the understanding of human development, behavior, and the social, economic, and cultural institutions and interactions. So as social workers, we deal with a variety of people. We deal with different cultures, different issues, complex issues that nobody else probably want to deal with. What is a social worker? Professionals who aim to enhance overall well-being and help meet basic and complex needs of communities and people. Like I said, we work with different populations, particularly those populations who are vulnerable, oppressed, and those living in poverty. We work with people who have disabilities, substance abuse problems, or experience domestic conflicts. And I'm going to add to that, we also deal with people, you know, that have mental health disorders as well. So as y'all can see, you know, this isn't a field of practice for people who are faint at heart. And I don't mean that in a condescending way. When it comes down to social workers, we practice at different levels. And what I mean by that is you have 3 different levels that we focus on. And that's the macro level. So that's MACRO. That's pretty much people that practice at like a global level, or you working with communities, states, you know, like that large scale type thing. And so an example of macro level social work would include lobbying to change a healthcare law. So those social workers that are huge on making changes to policies and things like that. Or someone that's organizing a statewide activist group. So as you can see, these social workers are dealing with people on a large scale. So it's not just, you know, somebody doing work in your community, but this is somebody that's practicing sometime at a global level. Then you have the meso social work level, and that's MESSO, or sometimes it's pronounced mezzo level. So that's MEZZO. And that's when social workers advocate and serve clients within all the public systems that make up the fabric of our communities, regions, and nation. So for example, school social workers, that's what I am. School social workers, we provide services for students, who are struggling personally, socially, academically, behaviorally. And so we're kind of, we do a lot of work with the community because we're kind of like the middleman between our students and families and the local community resources. So we dealing with people on a community level. So that's meso level social work. Also, you have micro level social work. These are social workers who may be helping a child in foster care, social workers who might be helping an individual who is homeless find a home. It could be therapists providing counseling, individual counseling to a person. So that's considered micro level. So that's the smallest area of social work practice. And I got that information from socialworklicensmap.com. So as y'all can see, it's levels to this thing. Like I always would tell people, man, it's levels in social work. Social workers are not limited. Like I know a lot of times some people associate social workers who are working at DFACS and stuff, but I have never, in my life worked at DFACS. Just because that was not the area that I was chose to work in. And I want to say shout out to all caseworkers, social workers that actually do work with DFACS or CPS. That's not an easy job, and hats off to y'all. But also social workers, they tend to be in different locations. So what I mean by that is you have medical social workers, those who work in the hospital, those who work with the VA clinic. You have social workers, I already said, working in the school system, which that's what I do. You have social workers who work with like human trafficking and things of that nature. So we kind of everywhere. Like nursing homes, we pretty much everywhere. And even the prison system. Now I want to talk about famous women social workers. I'm just going to name a few, but I'm going to focus on one in particular. Jane Addams. Anybody that's in social work, you took social work classes, y'all done heard of Jane Addams. And even if you're not in social work, you probably have heard of Jane Addams because she is like the GOAT in social work. She was a pioneer in social work. She opened the door for a lot of people. You have Frances Perkins, Jeanette Rankin, Edith Abbott, Harriet Renato, Mary Ellen Richmond, and last but certainly not least, my girl Mary Eliza Church Terrell. Now, I'm going to focus on Mary Church Terrell. Honestly, I never heard of her until I got into social work school, and that was during my undergraduate. And I just don't understand, why some of these women wasn't taught in our history books in school. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm not even going to get into that. But anyway, this lady, when I tell you she is like phenomenal, like that's probably an understatement. So, giving y'all some back history on Mary Church Terrell. She was actually the first African American female to get a college degree. So right there, she's already a trailblazer, as you can see. She was the first African American female to get a college degree. And she didn't just get one degree. But I'm gonna get into that later. Mary, she was an activist who played a very prominent role in racial equality and women's suffrage in the late 19th, early 20th century. She was born September 1863 in Memphis, Tennessee. She earned her bachelor's and master's degree at Oberlin College. She was a teacher for 2 years at I don't know, it's that Main Street Colored High School. And she also met her husband while she was teaching at school. She joined Ida B. Wells Barnett in anti-lynching campaigns, and she did a lot of work with that because what happened is she had a friend who unfortunately got lynched. So that kind of encouraged her to join those lynching campaigns. But her focus was really on ending racial discrimination. She was all for people of color advancing themselves through education and work. So she was really huge on education because her parents, they were like really, really big on her getting her education. So she passed that on to other people, and she was like a huge advocate for people gaining education and just furthering themselves. She helped found the National Association of Colored Women, which is the NACW, and she was a president from the years of 1896 to 1901. She campaigned for Black women's suffrage. She in 1909 she became a member of the NAACP. She published her autobiography, which was titled A Colored Woman in a White World. In 1953, the Supreme Court ruled that segregated eating facilities were unconstitutional. So Mary, her work did not go in vain because she lived to see, change. That's what she fought for all these years. That was the reason she joined these organizations and became the president of the NACW, because she wanted to see a change. She wanted social justice for people. So I'm just proud that her work did not go in vain. And I'm glad that God allowed her to see these restaurants becoming integrated before she actually passed on. I was like, wow, she saw the change before she left this earth. And sometimes it's not always like that. But yeah, it's just so amazing, to read stuff like that. People like Mary is the reason why I'm in the position that I am. Being a young African-American woman, I can say so much, but anyway, just having that opportunity, for me, being a school social worker, like, I don't take that lightly. And it's people like Mary Church Terrell that paved the way, for me and so many other African-American female that took on this job of being a social worker. So y'all, social work is hard work. Like, I have been a school social worker for maybe like 6 months. I started August of last year, August of 2021. So I'm learning new things every day. Like, I'm like, oh, I didn't know this, I didn't know that, and it's a beautiful thing to learn. That's why we're here. We should want to learn and, to grow and all of that. So, but yeah, being a young school social worker is very rewarding, and it's very humbling, and I don't know. Like, I just know that I was purposed to do this, and, it's really a great thing. Like I said, if it wasn't for people like Mary Church Terrell, man, I wouldn't be here. Like, I wouldn't be doing this. But I just want to say, if y'all know a social worker personally, like, thank them for what they do. Even if you never had to utilize a social worker, just give them credit or thanks for them showing up, because a lot of times we do work in the background. Like, people don't see a lot of the work that we put in, and they don't fully understand our role, and that's fine. But just thank a social worker, because we are changing lives. I mean, of course, we can't save the world. Many of us try, but you can't save the world. But we definitely get our feet dirty, there are sometimes I deal with cases at school and I come home and like all I can do is just pray, you know, for some of those students, because sometimes, I mean, a lot of them have went through issues and challenges that I would have never, ever thought that I would have to go through or that I experienced. So they're experiencing many challenges that I never experienced. And so, you know, it just caused me to want to do everything I can, you know, to help them, advocate for them, and just make sure that they have all the resources in place. And that's what I forgot to mention that too, that a lot of us, I joke a lot of times because I'm like, social workers, a lot of time people think that we something like Jesus or something. Like they want us to make a way out of no way. That's what they expect us to do. Like make a way out of no way and, you know, turn cartwheels and wave a magic wand, you know. But now, you know, we do the best that we can, but you know, we can't perform miracles, but we definitely do what we can for our clients because our heart is into it. We love what we do. We ain't in it for money, but anyway, it's ministry, y'all. It's really ministry. I just think about how we help restore people, you know, when they struggling, they hurting, going through this, you know, in a crisis situation. Our role is to partner up with them and help them to get back to their normal way of living. So I'm just giving y'all some education on what social workers do in case you all didn't know. But yeah, that's all the information that I had for today. Just want to say shout out to all the social workers. Like I say, we do the darn thing. Like we are very valuable, and I just want to thank all social workers for all the hard work that y'all do. Sometimes we don't get a thank you, but anyway, we just keep doing, we just keep going, and we just keep helping people, empowering people, because that's what we do. But anyway, I think that is all I have. It's your girl, Gabby Speaks. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I certainly hope that y'all have a blessed day. Until next time.